Hi everyone and welcome to Learn Excel with Ramon. Today we're just going to build a simple bar chart with a secondary axis, which is kind of tricky sometimes, but it's very easy to do. Just as a reminder, I'm using Excel 2013 for Windows 10. That's the version that I have here. So let's start looking at our data here. As you can see, very simple data. These are numbers that I pulled from the internet. However, they could be hypothetical, it doesn't matter in this case. I just have a list of the top 5 biggest cities in Canada. So I have the cities on column A, and then I have the population in column B, and then a growth rate. Rate of growth in Canada. And again, hypothetical data, but it's just to show that we have the data here in percentages and the data here in millions of people. So obviously 2 completely different scales, and we're going to learn how to plot this in a nice way in a bar chart with a secondary axis. So the easiest way to do this is to simply select the data that you want to plot on a graph here, and then we're going to go to Insert, and I'm going to pick the section here for columns. But instead of picking this first graph, I want to show you something else. If you have this option in your version, more column charts. And then I want you to go up and go to recommended charts. So what Excel is doing here, because I'm dealing with 2 types of data in completely different scales, it is already suggesting that I use a clustered column line on secondary axis, which is exactly what I want. And I'll show you how to do it in a different way as well if you don't have that option in Excel. So I'm just going to click OK here, and voila, here's my graph. And as you can see, I'm just going to enlarge it a little bit. I have the column or the bars, in this case here, the blue bars for the cities plotted against this axis here, the x-axis, and you can see the numbers in millions. And then I have the line plotted against the secondary axis in percentages. Pretty cool, eh? So how do we make this look a bit more elegant? So let's give it a name here. So Canada's most populated cities, and say their growth rates. Okay, I also like to I will double click on the bars, and if you have this option here, you want to look into the gap width, and I like reducing it to make the bars a bit fatter. So they're a bit more, they're easier on the eyes to see. If you click out of the box here, close that window, you'll see that the graph now has a fatter, bigger, larger columns. Better to see. It's an option. I like doing that. This is also, we can do something here to appease the eye a little bit more. So if you double click on that scale there, and if you go to Axis Options, and for example, let's display in thousands. Close that. And now I have, 6,000 thousands, which is 6 million. So it's a little easier on the eyes. The other thing I like doing here as well, for this line, click with the right button, you can add data labels, because that's kind of a piece of information that I wanted to see on the line there. And voila, that's how you do it. It's not complicated at all. If you don't have the option of doing the cluster graph, I'm going to delete this and kind of do it again, at least the first steps, to show you how to do it if you don't have that option. Again, you can select the data, and if you go to Insert and just simply click here, which is what I avoided doing it the first time, but I want to show you the trick here. So you see the graph in the bars, however, you don't see the growth rate because it's in percentages, and it's so small in comparison to the scale that is not going to show on the graph. So that's why you need to plot against a secondary scale. So if you click with the right button of the mouse and go to Change Chart Type, at the bottom here you see Combo. combo. And now I see population and growth rate. So population I'm going to leave as is, cluster column. Growth rate, it's already suggesting line, but you can open this here and pick a graph. But most importantly is to click on secondary axis. When you do that, again, you have the graph that I got in my first run, and you can do the rest to make it look a little prettier. So that's it for now. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.